Good afternoon, class. My name is Megan. Today our topic is a persuasion speech, and for my persuasion speech I chose to do it on volunteering and whether volunteering should actually be a requirement for high school students. My thesis, the goal is to persuade you as my audience to see that volunteering as a high school student will actually enrich your life and change your thoughts on friendships, family, communities, and things like that. Myself, when deciding on what speech to do, I thought back of a time when volunteering actually changed who I was personally. My father actually worked at Good Samaritan in Arizona. It was a nursing home. And during my summers, he brought me in with him. Of course, at first, being 12, 13 years old, I kind of thought, oh gosh, I have to go spend my summer days with my dad and a bunch of old folks. Well, actually, it turned into this just really great enrichment process for me. Also, it brought me to another level as to where now I am in the health field, because it expanded my ideas and brought me some focus into my life at that point. So as a child volunteer, at the Good Samaritan home, I was able to do a lot of things actually. I got to work in the general store. I got to implement ice cream socials, which in an Arizona heat, that's amazing. Also, we got to plant flowers and go swimming and do a lot of activities with the seniors. One patient who stood out to me, his name was Leo. And Mr. Leo would just shuffle himself all around the world, all around his little area. But once you came up to him, he would almost freak out and yell at you, and he'd say, "Get out of my chicken coop!" And I was like, whoa, 12 years old, not sure what that meant. Well, as I was told, Mr. Leo had Alzheimer's, and he was a farmer. And so what happened is he was pretty sure that he was in the farm, and now he was all around his chickens. And at that point, I had never experienced anything like that with Alzheimer's patients. And so when I had to approach Leo, I had to ask him, "Can I step into your chicken coop?" And so that gave me patience and gave me empathy and had me realize, as a resident, as a patient, that he was not in our world, and I couldn't just approach him. I had to ask. And so those qualities really helped me learn how to empathize with patients and how to understand where they're coming from, instead of just approaching them with my attitude and my responses and things like that. So as far as the benefits of volunteering, like I had already talked, it kind of gave me personal growth, enrichment. There's nothing more fulfilling than realizing how much an impact you can make as a volunteer. That's actually a quote from the United Way in 2015, this year actually, from the United Way, saying that you can grow so much just as a volunteer. Another thing would be learning a new trade and friendship enhancement. There were other volunteers with me that I got to grow with and understand, and they got to hang out in Leo's chicken coop too, and we all got to just learn more about our world around us, instead of just focusing on where we were at in our world and just our lives. The benefits of being a volunteer and the high school can actually benefit from students being required to be a volunteer. Students can reach their full potential. 55% of volunteers are known to do better on their exams and schoolwork and get better grades. And that was a statistic from the National Service Government. It also eliminates seclusion, that tunnel vision that teenagers get. They get down on their phone and they just really kind of seclude themselves in their media world and only hang out with the friends that they hang out with. Allowing them to get out of that seclusion will enrich their life and grow them as a person, because they're experiencing other people who are nerds or jocks or goth, or somebody who likes heavy metal or something like that. There's all kinds of different people in the world, and I know that we sometimes just like to hang out with our own group, but if you can step outside of that, you can learn so much about humankind. Also, what being a high school student and volunteering could do would be building communities. increasing your knowledge of those around you and increasing the needs, knowing whether we have a huge homeless population or if we have a hunger situation where there's a lot of kids in need for clothes and winter coats and boots and things like that. And also even animal shelters, knowing if there's enough animal shelters around, for the animals that are in need as well. So there's all different areas that volunteers can work in, and it's just increasing our communities and building those communities to allow them to do that. Again, a national service government statistic was that 55% of youths between ages 12 and 18 are volunteering currently. However, 3/4 of those are only from religious organizations. So only about 18% of those students are actually from school-based programs. And those are usually charter schools, Montessori schools, things like that require this requirement for a student so that they can go out to college. I understand that that's a very big reason to volunteer. However, I just feel personally about volunteerism, growing yourself as a person and helping those around you are just going to be bigger benefits than getting into college, because there's a lot of things that get you into college, and yes, that is a very good positivity, but the person you become because of volunteering is going to make you a better college student. I hope today that I encourage some of you to maybe volunteer, encouraging you and maybe the teens around you to be exposed to the vast amount of positivity that volunteering can bring. It also helps nurture your mind and become a better person while helping out others as well as your community. Again, today, guys, I just wanted to talk to you about volunteerism, hoping that you can maybe persuade a future college student into volunteering just for the benefit of themselves and others. I will never forget my experience with Leo. He is just the sweetest old man, shuffling around from every one direction to the next. Sometimes we would have to chase him out the door because he got out too quickly or something like that. But understanding where he was coming from, again, helped me empathize and understand and become a better person because of my volunteerism. And again, thank you to my dad for putting me in those situations as well. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and it was nice chatting with you and seeing all your videos as well. Bye.